Well, while Australia enjoys a relatively relaxed Christmas, celebrations in parts of the UK have been muted due to the severe pandemic restrictions. London is one of the places under Tier 4 restrictions, meaning non-essential services and travel are not allowed.
Well, there's a strict stay-at-home policy, which makes it difficult for thousands who sleep rough on the streets. Andrew Mcleay is the manager of the Ealing Soup Kitchen, and he says the homeless need assistance, especially at this time.
Homelessness in the UK is in a pretty bad shape. I think COVID has made it so that it's very, very difficult for any of the homeless population really to celebrate in a way that's useful. So none of them are now allowed inside. So a lot of them have to basically stay in the streets.
How does that work with Tier 4, given that everyone is supposed to be staying at home? What happens if you don't have a home?
Yeah, well, exactly. And this is the biggest problem. What was meant to happen some months ago when the lockdown first hit was that a lot of the homeless were meant to be given hostels and then meant to be given permanent accommodation as a result of that. But that actually hasn't happened. So as a result, there's a lot of homelessness that's still very, very rampant and very real. So their last kind of resort is really places like ours.
Now, you manage the Ealing Soup Kitchen. You provide hot meals over the weekend to those who are in need. Have you seen a rise in the numbers of people coming to the soup kitchen ever since the pandemic started?
Yeah, we've seen the numbers rise. So we had about 400 or so before the pandemic, and our numbers are sort of steadily rising. We're now seeing a lot more sort of working homeless, a lot more people who are newly homeless as a result of not being able to pay their rent, and a lot of people who maybe are disabled and didn't know, how to get any food, and so maybe friends or family are coming to the soup kitchen to collect food for them. So it's a real mix of people now. But and we're also seeing a lot more refugees in this country, so we're serving them as well.
Why do you think you are starting to see more of the working homeless coming to your soup kitchens?
I think we're seeing a lot more of the working homeless because the situation over here is so bad. So the economy is in effectively a recession. A lot of people losing their jobs. A lot of people who very skilled people who previously had employment their whole lives and now just can't find anything. So we're seeing lots more people on the breadline that normally wouldn't have necessarily needed us. In fact, we're seeing people who used to support us financially who are now coming to visit the soup kitchen because they have no money left in their savings. So it's an incredibly sad situation. Lots of children coming to the soup kitchen in lines with their parents, and that's just a really horrible and horrific sight.
How have you had to adapt the soup kitchen in order to be COVID safe and be able to continue servicing these people?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously we've had to wear masks. We've had to kind of develop policies. We've got a track and trace system here in the UK, so all of our volunteers are meant to use their phones to log in to the soup kitchen when they get there, so that then they can kind of make sure that they're safe. We've also got hand gel, not just for us, but for the clients as well, and masks. And basically it's just fastidiously cleaning everything as much as we possibly can to just try to do whatever we can to combat this virus.
Andrew, you're an Aussie living in cold, wet, wintry London during Christmas at the moment. How's your Christmas been under these very strict restrictions?
It's really different, I think, because normally have a big family and we'd want to get a big get together. We're not even allowed to leave. So my mum lives with me here in the UK, and we can't go home to see the rest of our family. And the ones that we have in the UK here, we're not able to visit. So it's really, really tough. It's taken a bit of getting used to. So we've had to do our own Christmas dinner. Normally we have that at a family's house, but not this year. So it's been a real adjustment. But I think I personally have been incredibly lucky because I've got family around me. The thing that I'm very, very conscious about is that there are so many people who have no one, who don't have any family whatsoever. And that's a really, really tough and difficult situation because for them, they will be completely alone and it'll just be another day for them.
Indeed. But at this time, what do you miss most about Australia?
Do you know, I think during this pandemic, I have pretty much missed everything about Australia. I don't think there isn't a thing that I haven't missed. I think that when you get told you can't go somewhere, it's like that instinctual thing. As a child, all you want to do is do the thing you can't do. So all I want to do is come to Australia and see my friends and, see people that I love. But unfortunately, not being able to do that. So yeah, I miss Sydney, my hometown of Gladesville. Miss all my friends. Yeah, I mean it's been a lot harder this year than it has been in any other previous year. Really, really difficult.
Yeah. Just looking ahead, Andrew, what is your wish or your hope for the next year, 2021?
I guess my wish would be that I think particularly in the UK that the government or the local charities can get enough funding to do something about this problem. Because it's a really the worst part of the year for homelessness is Christmas, and it's just horrendous this year when you can't hug somebody, you can't do the things you used to be able to do. We used to be able to house them and things, but a lot of that sort of stuff, 80% of charities now are kind of in the ground basically, because they either didn't get funding or they were run by people who were vulnerable, so they had to stop. So it puts the onus on the soup kitchen, and it's a lot harder to do our jobs, just a basic job. So yeah, I'm really hoping that maybe the government or people with some influence can do something about this issue, and make it just a nicer thing for them. Because I know what it was like when I first moved here and became homeless myself. It's very lonely, and as most people are finding out now, having Christmases by themselves or with smaller amounts of family, it can be a very, very lonely time. And we need each other. Actually, this is, more than any other time we need each other. And this is something that I've learned the hard way, as has many of my clients.